Let's move on to tomorrow night's game. Dolphins are playing the Buccaneers tomorrow night at the.
I wonder if we'll see Jameis Winston.
We could, right? There's a chance.
He needs work.
They need to throw him out there, I think, a little more. I'm hoping they do. That's probably the most exciting thing that we're going to see out there.
Absolutely, no question about it.
Well, so what should we expect then to see from the Dolphins? What are you going to be keeping your eye on for the Dolphins tomorrow night against the Buccaneers?
I think it's about the offensive line play. We have not seen them get into a groove yet. While they have protected Tannehill respectably, while they have opened up decent running lanes, I want to see them get to the next level as a run blocking line. And also, you got to see them solidify that pocket for Ryan Tannehill, develop some chemistry. I'm not sure they're going to be able to do it considering Brandon Albert's not going to be there. Mike Pouncey's probably not going to play. Those two young guards, Dallas Thomas and Billy Turner, I expect them to play. Maybe even Juwan James gets a rep or two just because he's not a finished product. But, you know, the goal of every exhibition game is to stay healthy.
Right.
Also, from the secondary, I need to see who is ready to step up and become a regular contributor at cornerback and in the secondary. We've got a competition, not really, because they want to give it to Walt Aikens.
Right.
Walt Aikens and Michael Thomas. Rashad Jones has a shoulder injury. Walt Aikens and Michael Thomas are going to be playing at safety. I need to see them make me comfortable. Safeties are like the quarterbacks of defense, last line of defense. Nobody can get behind them. They can't miss tackles. I want to see that kind of consistent play.
We've been saying all preseason that results really don't matter in these games.
Yeah.
But one thing that we did see was that the second and third teamers blew the first two games, and they were able to keep this last win alive.
Paper thin roster.
Okay. I mean, but so is that what we want to see? We want to see this depth perform at a higher level than certainly that we saw the first two preseason games?
Oh, man. I am so concerned, and I have been concerned about the depth of this Dolphins team. I think you only have two units where you have significant depth. That's the defensive line, and that's the receivers. Every other area, paper thin. And when you, let's just say, and we're going to knock on wood.
Okay.
Let's just say that Mike Pouncey had torn a knee.
Yeah.
How good would your season have been?
That's trouble.
Your season would have been a disaster, wouldn't it?
It would have been very
Let's
close.
just say Brandon Albert
Can't
regresses.
Right.
And what happens to Louis Delmas happens to Brandon. And I'm knocking on wood.
Right.
You got nothing. And your season is nothing. And it's across the board. Lamar Miller, I'm not comfortable with any of those backs being a featured back. Now, in roles, maybe, but featured, no. So they got to find depth somehow, some way. I expect them to be active on the waiver wire. I expect them to sign a veteran offensive lineman, whether it be a tackle or a guard, and add him to the fold once teams start to trim down their roster. But depth, not comfortable at all.
Well, you've been breaking down the bubble for us on Sentinel.com here for weeks, months even. Some bubbles have burst already. Who are we still keeping an eye on to see if they can possibly make the team?
Guys who this Thursday night game, are critically important to. A.J. Francis played well all three exhibition games. Has played well throughout his entire career with the Dolphins. They might think they can sneak him onto the practice squad. I highly doubt that. I think 330-pound nose tackles who are productive and help you on special teams are going to be claimed, but that's one to watch. Jeff Linkenbach, Sam Brenner, two offensive linemen. The Dolphins right now are probably going to keep 8 to 9 offensive linemen. Those are probably the last two that I expect to be on. Matt HAZEL, a 6th-round pick from last year's draft. Good receiver, probably belongs in the NFL, but right now when Kenny Stills or Rashard Matthews, or whoever you want to pick as your 5th receiver. Those two guys are starting caliber. When you've got 5 receivers who are starting caliber, guys like Matt HAZEL
there's just
fall
no
through
room
the
for
crack.
There's just no room for him.
Absolutely no room for him. But maybe they think they could stash him on the practice squad. I'm not sure anybody's going to claim Matt HAZEL, but you know, it's about continued development, and I like some of the continued development I've seen from these Dolphins.
Okay. Of course, we're taking your questions. Just go to Twitter, use the hashtag XOmar.
We'll also take your challenges. If you have a challenge for me, we've got Jamel here bringing all challenges to the table.
All right, let's take a Twitter question right now. Dustin at Nosco152. Are you still saying Albert will not be ready for week 1?
I am still saying that Brandon Albert will not be ready for week 1. While he likes to say that he has a pimp limp, and that's why he walks the way that he walks, dragging his leg, you know, the right leg, the knee that's surgically been repaired. I have watched him in Carolina do a little bit of practice. And while practices are closed to us only on a limited basis, we don't get to see 11 on 11s anymore. When I looked at Brandon Albert, he didn't look like a guy ready to play. And he also doesn't look like a guy who's in football shape and can play 50 snaps a game. I am projecting that it's going to take Joe Philbin, based on history, 3 weeks of seeing a guy practice before he will clear them to play. That's just his history. That's how Joe works.
All right.
And so I'm thinking that Brandon Albert sits out the first 2 games and is back for game number 3.
We did, Albert said himself that he believes he's going to be back earlier than game 3, is what he said, right?
Okay.
Earlier than game 3.
He said, until you hear from the horse's mouth, don't believe it, but I don't know when I'm going to be back.
Okay. Let's take some of your questions. How about, is Ryan Tannehill making others better around him finally? We talked about that a lot last year, that Tannehill doesn't make other players better. I feel like I heard that from you a lot.
Yes.
Do we feel like we're getting to that point yet?
No. I'm at the point where I think Tannehill's good now, finally. I think his cojones have fallen. And I think he is taking his game to the next level. I'm seeing practices and consistency like I saw from Chad Pennington. What I'm not seeing is him making players better. Rashard Matthews has gotten better. Jarvis Landry has gotten better. Those are the 2 guys that he's really doing well with. He doesn't have any chemistry with Jordan Cameron yet. He doesn't have any chemistry with Kenny Stills yet. And Greg Jennings is a veteran. Maybe the veteran is making him better.
Maybe. That question was from Adam. Let's take a question from Tanner. What will be the major thing? This is a little pessimistic, but what will be the major thing that will cost us a playoff berth this season?
Injuries.
All right.
Injuries, depth. Kouamisi goes down. They're key players that you just cannot do without because you don't have replacements for him. Kouamisi. Ryan Tannehill, you have a replacement for. Lamar Miller. Brent Grimes.
So wait, on the list,
Rashad Jones.
On the list of irreplaceable players, how far down is Ryan Tannehill?
I would put him probably about 6 players ahead of him.
Wow.
Matt Moore can play. Matt Moore doesn't practice well.
Okay.
No doubt about it. But Matt Moore can deliver you wins. And I've seen it. And in fact, his aggressive style of play probably feeds into this defense. This defense needs a lead. If Ryan Tannehill can give them a 14-point lead at halftime, they can pin their ears back and get after teams. You're going to get turnovers. You're going to get sacks. Give them a lead, and you will see them eat. And Matt Moore, that's what he did when in 2011 season. Blowout, close loss. Blowout, close loss. He wasn't like Ryan Tannehill where he won a close game or lost a close game. Blowout or close loss. That was Matt Moore. And trust me, Matt can play.
Okay.